One thing I failed to mention is that when I start each box, I make sure I have a lock, the hinges, and this is called an escutcheon pin or thing or something, whatever. What it does is it makes the keyhole look a little more attractive. And once I get that, I put it in a little baggie so that with the screws and everything, so that I can get back to it later. And so I'm waiting for the that little panel to glue up. I'll show you how I go about laying out where I'm going to put the lock. So this is what they call a center point ruler. And basically what you do, see if I can focus in on that. You got the, wherever the end number is, you look for it in this, in the bottom, you look for it in the bottom scale, and that's where your center is. And we tried to make it 15 inches, and if you see, I'm just a little shy of 15. Well, actually quite a bit shy, but the beauty of that is that it fits in the box easier, especially after I put the molding on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that mark on the bottom scale, and then I will make a mark. So I have the lock inside the box, and there's two marks that need to be made. I need to make one for the this edge and one for this edge. So that little where it kind of tore out, it's not really a big deal because it's going to be hidden anyway. And going down, it's not a big deal either, because I'm going to have to take a saw and trim that a little anyway to make sure that the key fits. So that's just like a, for now, a reference point. So this is going to be one edge of the lock. So I take my knife and I make a mark. the eyes aren't that good anymore. I'll make a little note. So this is how far down I need to go. Just to make sure. Look. So that's where the entire lock would fit. But I have this little lip down here. I got to take that into consideration too. But first, to make life easy, what I'm going to do is I measure in to get the how big this mortise has to be. Off a little bit. That's the trouble with these. Trying to film. I'm not used to filming and doing this. So I apologize for the head. But it's going to end up being fixed a little anyway, because I'm always a little bit off. I haven't totally figured it out. Now what I did was I went to the top of the plate on one. So now we go to the top of where the lock stops. And I should have done that with the knife, but it doesn't matter. So we have two mortises that we got to chop out. We need to chop out a relatively deep one for this part and a really thin one for this part, so that it's actually registers in the inside instead of this being a little above. So let me get set up for that, and we'll start. Welcome back to the Kano Cabinet Shop. Well, the box is unclamped and everything, and it's still in square. The top is still pretty much level, which for me is a really big deal. I don't have to really plane down anything to level off the top. I do have some cosmetic stuff to do. Some of these pins are protruding quite a bit. They're doing it on both sides. So all in all, it's a win though. I do have some gaps in a dovetail, and I gotta fix this pin board a little bit better, but that's a cosmetic thing. The next thing is basically what's going to be the front and what's going to be the back. Now I noticed that this corner has some damage to it, so that would be hidden by molding. So just by virtue of that corner being messed up, it's going to be this is going to be the bottom. I sanded off all the marks on the inside. So I'm just going to put a little B here for back. Back, B for back, B for bottom. So I'm not going to worry too much about the pins just yet. I will momentarily, but right now I got something else going on. The next step in the box is to make a little compartment that would go across and down about 4 inches. In the book, The Joiner and Cabinet Maker, the box was a school box, so the guy who was in boarding school would put his pencils and stuff like that. I guess he even put an apple in there, according to the book. But you can put your, pencils. Got a favorite pen. Maybe, I'm not really sure what my nieces are doing with it. Maybe they put jewelry or a watch or whatever, maybe some coins, who knows. But anyway, we got to put a little removable tray in there. And this is going to be the side of the tray. It's going to go like that, and so I just have to make the bottom. And I noticed that I don't have any more wide board, so I got this thin board that we're going to be gluing up. And that's the first thing we're going to do before we actually start working on the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to the inside of the box, and then I'm going to make a mark just a little bit over, maybe 1/8 or maybe 2/8, just over the sides. Give me something to saw off a little bit later. So I'm going to mark it and saw it, and then I'll bring you guys back. So that's going to be the bottom of the till, and when I did measure it, it was about 5 inches. The total space that I need is 4.5. So the dilemma now would be, do I give them the whole 5 inches for the bottom of the till and take away a little bit from how much they could pile in, or do I just leave it like the entire width along the same? So I guess I'll wait and see what happens when I get it all glued up. So I have the bottom gluing up, and I really didn't need to put all these clamps on, but just want to kind of keep it as flat as I can. So, well, that's going to take about a day to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chisel and I'm going to just kind of pare down these high spots. I'm going to do that on both sides, and when I get done with that, I'll bring you guys back, and then I'm thinking I'll just use the entire width of the box, the bottom of the box, for because it's like, what's that extra ½ inch? It's not going to matter one way or the other, and then it saves me a little bit of work planing it down, and sometimes I'm a little bit lazy. So after I get these planed or pared down on both sides, I'll bring you guys back.